We've got Friday Night Glory's Tarrance Johnson back with us on the show tonight. Tarrance, thanks as always so much for coming on.
Thanks, Taylor. Always good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Let's talk about the game you were at this week, Lone Star versus Wakeland. Rangers still looking pretty good.
Yeah, that was a very good game for Lone Star coming out. Ended up being a 33-3 final. That means to me it was a defensive game. The defense of Lone Star made big stops on running back Jared White. Ashton Gently had a good game, 4 TDs. He had 4 TDs the week before, so he had 4 TDs rushing again to surpass his 1,000-yard mark. The defense came up big on interception. It was Devin Turner who caught a big interception in the end zone to stop the drive of Wakeland. Devin Turner also had 1 reception for TD, 13 yards by Garrett Rangel. So that lets you know they was on it last night. The Rangers defense was doing very good. Halftime, they went in at 13-0, so they came out with a big win in District 5A, 33-3.
I was about to say, the Rangers are going to be, as always, a team to watch as we get closer to the postseason. Now, last week you were at an 11-6A showdown between Cedar Hill and Waxahachie, but both of those teams certainly struggled a bit this week.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Cedar Hill not put any points on the board. Like you said, the week before I was at the Waxahachie and Cedar Hill game. It was a very tight defensive battle, and Cedar Hill finally got the score in the fourth quarter, which made it 14-10, and they got the win. But this past week, when Cedar Hill went out to play DeSoto made a big statement because there was a tight race for district. Like 1, 2, and 3 is Duncanville, Cedar Hill, and DeSoto in that district. And Waxahachie is on the cusp of trying to make the playoffs. But I was very surprised that Cedar Hill didn't put any points on the board versus what I seen with Waxahachie.
Do you think things are going to be any better for them next week? They got Duncanville, and that's no easy task.
Well, Duncanville did the same thing to Waxahachie as well. Ended up being 52-3. It's like running backs have really been running hard. Malachi Matlock had 4 TDs on the night, the Toledo commit, so he was running real hard. Duncanville defense stepped up and played how they played because, we got 3 more weeks left here in the regular season before playoffs gear up. But Duncanville defense was the key to that win. Cedar Hill will have to get some offense going if they're going to expect, to make a run at the playoffs and not put any more points on the board. But I don't expect them to be blanked out. I think it'll be a very hyped game because they got to bounce back, from not putting any points.
And you were talking about how we're getting to, into the postseason here in just a couple weeks. 3 more weeks until the playoffs. What are some district races that you're keeping your eye on as we kind of come down to the wire here?
Well, I keep my eye on Hebron, and Coach Brazil got his team rolling. They're on the streak right now, winning on a 4-game winning streak here. They started out 0-3 in their district, and now they're making some noise, knocking on a couple of doors. And also a surprising Woodrow Wilson is 6-1. They'll get to face a Lancaster team that's also 6-1. Those been some sleepers here in the Texas playoff high school football season, but I'm really surprised that Hebron turned it around. So I'm looking for them to knock on some doors as well.
Well, and Lancaster, they're always in the hunt of things. It will be very interesting to see what Woodrow's able to do against them. That's kind of a big test as you head into the postseason. That's Tarrance Johnson from Friday Night Glory. Tarrance, thanks so much as always for coming on.
Thank you too. Pleasure to see you again always.